There's so many reasons to get the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold3 and so many features that they've put in here. But one of the most surprising one, after having used this device for a couple of weeks now, close to a month, just prior to launch, is the fact that it's a great gaming device. Of course, it does tons of really cool things. Like it's got really exciting multitasking. Having this huge screen real estate and having 3 apps open at the same time is great. Using the phone in flex mode, like you were using a laptop and prop it up in certain places, using it as a tripod in different environments. It's great for creators, it's great for business people. But for gaming, I was actually really surprised. And Samsung have added a couple of features here that obviously help with the previous use cases, but they're actually really helpful for gaming as well. Before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know and disclose that I am a brand ambassador for Samsung. So I had this phone prior to launch, and as a result, I would actually consider this video sponsored. But I'm going to be focusing on something that I truly found surprising. Like it was something that I wasn't promoted to talk about, but it was something that I thought was really something that we actually should be looking at. I think it's going to change the way we potentially use phones for entertainment and especially for gaming, and there are some really big benefits here. Firstly, Samsung have improved the displays. On the front-facing display and the display on the inside, these are both 120 Hz panels. That's great for gaming. If you don't understand this, let me quickly explain. So 120 Hz means that the refresh rate, the flicker between the screen and your eye happens a lot faster. Most screens are 60 Hz, like the most screens that you watch like on your TV, and a lot of phone screens, in fact, are 60 Hz, which means that for every second, it roughly flicks around 60 times. You don't really see it with your naked eye, but it does mean that there are fewer pixels that you are actually able to respond to or interact with. When you have 120 Hz, you literally see frames before your opponent does. Like if you are playing a competitive shooter, for instance, I play a lot of Overwatch, having extra frames means that even though I've got a bit of lag, it just saves a little bit of latency. Also, it's a lot smoother and I can get more accurate with where I put my cursor because there's no longer like jumps, like little stutters. It's very smooth. It's hard to explain to you, but if you do have the opportunity to walk into a store, if you've got a Samsung store near you, and you can just try, put up your phone with 60 Hz next to it and just compare the two, you'll see the other benefits, like it's really smooth and going through the menus, but I'm gonna focus on the gaming experience. So gaming and 120 Hz on a panel this size on a phone, this is the biggest display on a phone that I know of. And to have the biggest display at the highest refresh rate means that this is a huge performance boost for gamers. The other thing, and it's a quality of life thing, is they do have the under display camera on the top over here. So if you put the under display camera over here, you can see it's nearly invisible. When you're playing games, you don't really notice it, which means that the real estate, the entire screen, is being utilized by the game that you're playing. It's no longer being like hindered. Some games just don't code for external pieces of hardware like a camera dot. It kind of just does make it feel like more of a monitor. And that brings me to the screen real estate. You might be hearing that in the marketing material, and you might have heard a lot of people talk about screen real estate, but the ability to fold for a foldable phone, the big joy in this is that you can double the size of your device. The big reason folding is important is that your screen size increases. Bigger screens for games obviously is great, but what about optimization? A lot of games are optimized right now for the fold, and that was something I was also quite surprised to see. I wasn't expecting it to be as widespread. So games like League of Legends Wild Rift, it's a very great MOBA, and if you guys are into MOBAs like Dota, it scratches that itch and it's on your phone, give it a shot. Fortnite, which is also super popular, accommodates the big aspect ratio, folds the screen completely. Games like Auto Chess, also extremely popular. Those are just some of the ones that I've tried. And some very premium games like Civilization. And this brings me to another point. Bigger screen real estate improves the experience that you have playing what I would consider more like a AAA game on a mobile device, because there's a lot of UI, there's a lot of intricate information that you've got to interact with, and it's kind of troublesome if the screen is small. Civilization is one of those games. Having the whole screen filled up with the map, with the UI being able to move around, is just like, why have I got like a computer in my pocket? It doesn't make sense. It's like, they really did a good job with that. And that's really, it was very surprising to be able to play it here. It was surprising when Civ came out for tablets. It's even more surprising when it's very competent on a phone. In some instances where the game does not support this aspect ratio, it is potentially possible to expand it, and you'll be able to do that in Samsung Labs, which is something you install. But for the most part, a lot of new games that are coming out are supporting this aspect ratio, and it makes me wonder like what you could be doing with this. I really want to see like a chess game where it's full screen chess. There might be one that exists, but I have been looking, that turns this shape into a chessboard. So you have a mini chessboard with you at all times. You can even have it 2 players. So like you can just prop it down in the middle of a table while you have your coffee, and you can play chess. Right? There's some really exciting use cases for this. To make sure that it does perform really well, because remember, double the screen real estate, really high refresh rate. There's a lot going on for a mobile device that a lot of even high-end mobile devices might struggle to keep up with. It's got a 5nm processor that's built in to carry that heavy weight for you. I'm very excited to see what Samsung's doing in the processor space. I'm going to keep it out of this video. It's really exciting that Samsung haven't dropped the ball when it comes to gaming and have it as a very prominent feature. Another feature that's not exclusive to the Fold, but works really well on this bigger screen is Xbox Remote Play. If you've got an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, you can remote play your console on your phone, which is great. So if your console is essentially on in another location, either it's at home and you're on holiday, you can play games that are on that console just by hitting the remote play. It'll wake up your Xbox from sleep mode, and boom, you can play games, AAA titles on your phone. If you've got your Xbox controller with you, you just sync it via Bluetooth to your Fold, and you can use your controller to play the games. A few caveats here before you just jump in and do it. Make sure that you've got a really high-speed internet at home that your console's on. Just plug it in through Ethernet. And then if you are connected to 5G, you can stream relatively real time. I'm actually really surprised. I am doing it at home on the same Wi-Fi connection, but it's indistinguishable between what I'm interacting with on the console and what I'm interacting with on the device. Like it's happening in real time. And I think there's a couple of reasons why it's working so well. One of them is the 120 Hz display. Remember, I said earlier that the frames are appearing faster, and I got a feeling that the lag is emphasized on a lower refresh rate screen. Having a display like this, it's got its benefits, and I'm sure that's one of them. I would like to go out into the wild and try things on 4G. I know that they have specified that you need to have a higher connection. Obviously, the quality of the performance is better, so maybe not necessarily competitive games, but games like Assassin's Creed, Limbo, Batman Arkham series, FIFA, this goes on. And being able to prop up this massive screen to play games is an absolute luxury. I'm very glad that Samsung has considered gamers and gaming at large for the Fold. I think this is a very exciting form factor to play games on, and it would have been a little bit of a missed opportunity if they just kept it for the other use cases. And of course, I get those other ones are super important. Productivity, when it comes to creative productivity, I'm going to be doing a lot of that stuff on my Instagram and my Twitter. So if you guys want to see, make sure that you follow me there. But the big surprise for me was how competent this device is at gaming and how much better it is at games. I have a couple of devices that I use. I review a few devices, and I'm playing games on this more than I'm playing games on my other devices because I'm just gravitating to that big screen. I'm excited for what other games are going to get supported and other games engines that like Unreal that will support this aspect ratio. Epic, keep doing your work with Fortnite. And also the work that Samsung are doing with Samsung Labs. Like if we can have better gaming experiences on this form factor, bring it. Finally, let me know what you think. Would you get a Fold purely for gaming? Let me know. I'm actually really interested. I think more and more people are playing mobile games seriously. And is this the format that you want to play them if it's supported? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in another video. Cheers.